Hi there. Let us talk about the mobile loan applications scam in the continent of Africa. In essence, scams being perpetrated by different mobile loan applications out there, which Africans are downloading, for example, from the Apple Store, from Google Play, and installing in their phone. And through these applications, they can be able to access quick money through different options, whether it is money to their bank accounts or even money to their mobile phone wallets. Guys, over the past 10 years, we have seen a crop up of different, in fact, we're talking about thousands of different mobile loan applications in the continent of Africa. Of course, a good number of them have accessed markets in the continent, which, by the way, sadly, in many countries are unregulated by the government. So they have been able to tap into these markets under the disguise of bridging the gap when it comes to financial inclusion. In essence, assisting the poor in society, assisting struggling business people out there to be able to access, quote unquote, fast and efficient credit as soon as they want it. Of course, a good number of them disburse money very fast as soon as someone applies, but also this money has lots of strings attached to it, as you're gonna see in this video. Actually, this is a very big scam, and that's so because if you do the cost-benefit analysis, the cons of all these outweigh the pros. Yes, they are able to get an individual small amounts of money as and of when they need it, but the pain that comes with that money is very much. You are all welcomed to the Money Daily YouTube channel. My name is Afaga Sifuna, and by the way, I'd really appreciate if you can like this video. Drop a like on this video for many more people out there to be able to see this awesome content. Thanks for liking the video. Having said that, I've already mentioned to you that these different mobile loan applications out there came into the continent, and right now we're talking about there being thousands of such under the disguise of bridging the financial inclusion gap. In essence, offering credits to kind of people, offering credits in such ways which the conventional banking system couldn't offer because of more strenuous conditions, and even a good number of people out there being locked out by banks because of requirements such as security or even low credit score. So these applications saw an opportunity, and even that, with the high penetration of internet in the continent, they came in full force. But the starting point of this is that, even before I discuss the pain, for you to see how convoluted these are, is that even the origin of these applications is a mystery. And I'm saying so because a good number of them are somewhat operating remotely. All they have is an applications either in Google Store or even in the Apple Store. But beyond that, they are operating remotely. And what is more fascinating is that most of these are backed by individual high net worth individuals and also venture capitalists, more so in the Western countries. And the peculiar thing is that despite these people backing these applications, most of them, for example, coming from the US and even some countries in Europe, they haven't registered their own business as lending applications in their respective countries. Rather, they have opted for countries in Southeast Asia which have low requirement with regards to data protection to be their home base, to be their headquarter. And then off those shores, they operate businesses with main targets being African continent, South America, and also India, which has a huge population of poor people. With that, they set foot in African continent about 10 years ago. And the number of this application has been growing over and over and over, which, by the way, is quite sad. And it is until recently is when we started seeing, for example, in Africa continent, for example, the government of Kenya starting to regulate this space through a recent regulation, which I'm going to talk about at the end of this video. But you might be wondering, what is wrong with these applications? Of course, from the face of it, it may look like they are very helpful. They're assisting people out there bridge the credit gap, bridge the money gap which they require. But beyond that, the methods these applications use to collect money are very inhuman. And I'm saying so because they harass their customers and even have the guts to go ahead and harass close contacts of their customers. in the name of a customer has defaulted. And even some of them start harassing their clients to repay the loan which they got days before the due date, which is kind of a sad situation. Imagine waking up one day, all you see is tens of threats on your phone through text message telling you to repay a loan which is even not due. Woe unto you if the due date passes, because they'll end up contacting almost all your contacts in the phone book, which is another sad situation. And this has actually caused much pain to many people out there. And the second fault, which has actually caused pain, is that also beyond these, most of the mobile loan creditors out there operating in unscrupulous ways. In some countries, actually, they have the leeway of even reporting default information to their credit reference bureaus out there. Mind you, their interest rates are very, very high, because you talk about interest rates even sometimes up to 100% of what someone has borrowed, and they have under 1 month to repay that loan. Even in some circumstances, they have to repay that loan in 5 days, which is kind of insane if you think about it. And with this, we're talking about very dire consequences in 3 folds. The very first fold is consequences to individuals. You know, someone getting this kind of loan and them not being able to repay it because of either genuine or not genuine circumstances out there, it throws them off balance. First thing being, it affects their financial well-being. We're talking about this piling interest, they end up messing up their financial plan. And more so, the disturbance individuals get out there because the message is coming in fast and furious, asking them to repay the money even before due date, is actually unsettling. It won't really assist someone go about their work in a normal way. And then also in individuals, talking about them being affected mentally. For someone's mental health, this is not good, because constant harassment actually inflicting someone fear and actually inflict doubt in them and worry, which actually is also another big mess. And of course, another key challenge to individuals is that a good number of individuals out there have ended up losing their livelihoods. And this so because it's either through these collection methods, which are actually debt shaming methods, individuals out there become very ashamed that even they resign from their jobs, or even worse off, it is employers who lay off individuals because of quote unquote being bankrupt or bringing shame to the organization they work for, which is kind of unfortunate. And then on the other side of the coin, we're talking about also these having that effect in someone's social sphere, more so friends, families, and so forth. And this so because we're talking about these applications out there contacting, harassing even people close to you. You know, think about it. Your immediate family, your parents, your uncles, your aunts, your friends, and so forth. All these are harassed under the disguise that you have refused to cooperate, and also you actually input them as guarantors while taking a loan, which is most of the times a huge lie. And with that, it actually causes a huge rift between different families, between friends, and so forth, because of mistrust or even because of that constant disturbance. It causes a huge rift. So you find out that at the end, it upsets also the social settings and interactions of individuals, which actually also contribute to someone suffering mentally, and even people close to you suffering mentally. And by the way, it is a pity that even some applications out there have guts to harass someone's entire phone book just because they are seeking to recover $1, which someone's going to be sure they're going to repay, but they don't want to hear that, and they don't want to even to have an arrangement with regards to how someone is going to repay this debt. I know you are already experiencing chills thinking about such an experience and putting yourself in such shoes of people who have taken such monies and are not able to pay because of genuine reasons. Of course, as I violated, it causes very crazy consequences, and even in some circumstances, it pushes even individuals to the edge of committing suicide because of that harassment, because of that disturbance, and so forth, which is very unfortunate. That's why, for example, in Kenya, the government of Kenya took steps to ensure it starts regulating this space. We're talking about the Central Bank of Kenya digital credit lenders regulation coming to force in Kenya. And with this, it is a way of the government taming this unregulated space. And by the way, I think more African countries out there and governments out there need to do this. For people to be operating in your country, you need to set the ground rules. There's no need, for example, your citizens being harassed under the disguise of bridging the financial inclusion gap. And yet, in the long run, it is your citizens who are being affected. And to give you an example, 3 key talking points with regards to why the regulation in Kenya could be a precedent even for other countries to adopt from is because the regulation is quite detailed. It has many things in it, which I don't really want to go into details right now. But allow me just discuss 3 key things which are covered in the regulation. The very first thing is that these digital lenders are required to have a physical office in Kenya for them to operate, which I think is a very massive and good requirement, because with that, it's gonna mean they have to register in the country for them to be able to operate, right? Which is a good thing. Mind you, I already told you they are operating in safe havens out there. With this requirement for them to register is gonna ensure they need to have a physical presence for them to run business in the country. And then secondly, these digital lenders are actually banned by the government from sharing a borrower's information with any third party out there, even including the credit reference bureaus, unless the customer or the borrower consents to that. Yes, the government through the regulation has actually banned these mobile loan lenders from doing that. And I think it's a good thing, because through this, we're gonna see that they're gonna stop sharing information with even close contacts. And by the way, it's very explicit. They're not supposed to even contact your close contacts and also use the information from your phone books to these such malpractices out there, which I think is a good practice, which is gonna assist people out there have mental well-being and also have their dignity intact, even when they seek such kind of financing. And then the third key provision in this regulation is that it actually also prohibits such kind of debt shaming, such kind of profanity collection methodology. It actually requires for digital lenders out there to collect their monies in ethical ways and also to follow the required debt collection procedures in the country, which I think is a very good thing. And in my opinion, different African countries out there need to borrow from these to ensure the overall well-being of their citizens. What do you think? If you've ever used such applications, have you been harassed before? If you have, share your thoughts down below in the comment section. Share down there. Let's continue discussing. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I look forward to share with you other awesome videos next time. Bye bye, and you all take care.